All right. Today is Saturday, November 18th, 2023. And there's a couple things that I want to talk about real quick, mainly in part with how this week's kind of shaped out to be on uh West basically being funded all the way throughout the year, but it seems like politicians not grasping the severity of what's going on. To the charging and declaring mistrial with certain things going on in the fucking world and all the other stuff with, you get a lot of coverage on certain things and then a couple weeks it's just like, oh hey, yeah, we're just gonna touch on this every, at the top of the hour and all the other stuff, but not as in depth as everything has happened. And it's almost as, go through this little definition, if you will, of insanity. On top of my situation, where it's just a repeat thing. Insanity is used in two contexts. One, the definition of doing the same thing over and over and over, expecting a different result. Meaning, like a lot of us, who are content creators and push live content out, we are insane, going live, constantly playing the same game. Sometimes we'll mix it up every now and then. And, we'll either have good days, we'll have, bad days, or, like right in between. I, would wrap that into insanity because we're expecting a different result every single time. On the flip side, you have the second definition of insanity, which a lot of law scholars would argue with it, but I disagree. If you take the definition of insanity at its core root, where you do the same thing multiple times expecting a different result, and let's say, you're a convicted killer on trial, and you say, oh well, I plead insanity. But you only killed one person. So if you're pleading insanity, does that mean that you did that multiple times? Or are you just trying to get out of your sentence? Because to me, that looks like you're trying to get out of your sentence. Couple that with politics. Okay? We're going through the same bullshit cycle again, like I've seen multiple times. And yes, I was deployed in 2011 in Afghanistan with a brief little stint of this. Politicians don't understand what's needed to keep the fucking country funded. They don't. The Treasury Department sucks balls because she's a communistic little socialist bitch who doesn't understand the core value of the American dollar. She's trying to do, take the frame rate, rip it the fuck out, and say, oh, well, you're footing the bill. Well, meanwhile, we have government. And by the way, this is where I talk about things that I don't talk about on live streams. This is my podcast. This is what I do weekly. This is just basically me venting for about 30 minutes or so. Meanwhile, you got politicians and lawmakers and everybody else who work half a fucking year making six goddamn figures, which I don't understand why nobody's even written up a fucking law or anything like this to limit that. Because if we all work, 3.5 days out of the week, we're fired. We're let go. We're laid off. We don't get paid. But yet they're able to work, only 180 days out of the year and say, oh, I'm taking vacation. Or, we're in recess and all the other stuff and make 6 to 7 figures. And by the way, if you take a look at some of their net worths and stuff, the and people, and they'll argue, oh, we're not corrupt, really. How did you go from being a bartender or somebody with a suspended law license to being a multimillionaire and in some cases billionaire? That insider trading much, that understanding how the actual game works with our lives and everything else, or you want to get in touch with one of the big three that run the fucking world and play pawns and chess and checkers with everybody's lives to try to offset the global economy. And I am not stupid to say what those three names are on a fucking recorded podcast or on a live stream, let alone some organizations, you know, that that monitor everything that we do. Because they control the majority of everything. And this isn't conspiracy theory. If you don't think I'm wrong, just find a connection that is more secure than you can fathom and search who owns the top 5 oil companies. And I think your mind will be blown. Am I gonna say the name? Hell no. I'm not stupid. Now, continue on with the point of the government shutdown. We got to rewind a little bit. Back in 2011, when I was deployed to Afghanistan, Obama was, president. I did not like how he ran the country. I still don't like him to this day. Not a presidential thing. It's the way he carried himself and, basically the moral construct as to how he tried to do things. I don't like how he more or less did things for the inner cities for the majority of the states and the majority of the major cities. I don't like what he did with in the context of screwing over the military. And I don't like how, at the peak as to where we had the most people deployed, decided to be a brilliant idea to shut the government down when you could have allocated the funds that were being sent over to Iran to fund this nation. It's not in the notion of, oh well, you're just a pissed off. No, it's in the notion of actually living through this shit. Because we were deployed to not a very serious active area, Leatherneck, Afghanistan, but the threat's always there. As we're told, the government shut down for about maybe 2 weeks, and I remember our commanding general that was on the base, and I'm not getting paid. Why should y'all go to work and be paid? Take the time off, relax, recover. That lasted about 2-3 days for me, and I went to my fucking platoon sergeant. And I was like, "Hey, you got work for me? I'm bored." Like, seriously, I'm bored out of my mind. I've read all the books that I have. I've done all the freaking word searches that I had with me. There's only so many MCIs, which are basically college level courses, which are from the Marine Corps Institute, MCI. Basically, like to help further our progress in our career. Did as many as I could do. I did everything, and I'm like, I'm bored. Let me go get some physical work in. So they sent me to work, and that's whenever I went to a little situation that I was never prepared for. There's a border. I call it the tri border. 3 countries border it. Sent me very briefly to set up communications. A certain issue in a certain situation arose, and then I got a specific call sign. I run it. I run that call sign on Tarkov. But, anyways, going back to the core root of insanity and everything, like it seems like this endless loop and this endless cycle of everything that's happening and everything that's going on. Because here we have, multiple conflicts going on in the world that are garnishing, world news attention. On top of Government sending millions to billions and 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 billions. You get the notion that billions and billions and billions of dollars to foreign aid where you cannot track where it's actually going, where that could actually be used here. As I'll be straightforward, I am tired of this country, of the United States of America, being the world fucking police. Because if you grind the gears long enough, they're going to become, worn out, and they're going to break. And this country is already, at a boiling point where it's about to explode, especially in a manner that nobody's prepared for. And I'll tell you straightforward, I'm going to do what I'm going to do to, ensure the safety and well-being of my family and everybody else around in my neighborhood. Now, whether people, are going to do the same thing with, same thing with me or not, I don't fucking care. I'm still looking out for my family and my well-being, first and foremost. Yeah, I have allegiance to this country, but it's not a blind allegiance. I know our dark history. I know our dark past. I know of the dumbasses that are up in DC. The very, very, very few that try to do anything worthwhile. Which I still find it funny, we beat our chest, say we're the greatest nation on earth. Okay. As a clip on a HBO show, he says we're not the greatest nation, and he lists a lot of reasons why, which are 100% factual. I don't need to tell you to look it up, because if you've already seen the clip, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Unless they've already gone and censored that part and taken it out, but it exists. It's not that hard to find. But go back to, the definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over and over and over, expecting a different result. Conflict arises, we send money. Another conflict arises, we send money. Oh shit, we're shutting down. And now everybody goes into panic mode. And God forbid, you are on active duty and you go through furlough, or you are actually part of the government shutdown. Because what that means is you got to figure out what the hell to do to pay your bills on time. I'll tell you straightforward, if you are not with a financial institution or a bank that has guaranteed they will pay their members, and you're renting, rent's due, or your mortgage is due on the first, hey, you're delinquent, or your car note, hey, on the first, bitch, you gotta pay. Good luck. See, I'm fortunate, to be a member with USAA, who's already said that they will pay their members regardless of what happens. Same thing with Navy Credit Federal Union as well. This isn't an ad or anything for them. This is who I've seen. Now, kudos to the policymakers and the politicians. I'm not going to take a paycheck while the government shut down. I'm going to write my check and send it to, this. You tried. You don't give a shit. Your check for $100 and some odd $1,000 to maybe $1 million is more than an entire battalion's net worth in an entire fucking month. Don't even get me. Don't even give me that. Now I'm exaggerating a little bit, yeah, but still, don't even get try that bullshit with me, because if the longer you're in politics, the longer you're in an area where you know more of the insider trading and you know more of the crap that's going on, the more you can line your pocket with unsolicited funds. It's simple. And here's another thing I don't get: the IRS. I'm going a little tangent here. Here's another thing I don't get with the IRS. They know how much we have to file for. They won't tell us. And if we get it wrong, we go to jail. Like, am I missing something here? God forbid you're, self-employed, high, or, anything like that. And you don't know how much you have to claim in taxes in order for you not to go to jail or be audited. But hold on. I'm working for myself. I'm doing everything that I need for myself. And government saying, no, we're taking that. I don't work for you. You work for me. In fact, I should be taking yours because with the debts that you've accrued over the lifetime of this, country and the trillions of dollars, I can't allocate for your debt. So why should you be able to allocate for mine? I saw something. I do not know the provision. If anybody knows, comment below. Like there's a law that states something like that. It's pretty wild. But if y'all are curious on anything that what's going on with what's being passed for the budget and all the other stuff, just look at the bill. You'll see why it passed the way it passed. And I think you'll be shocked as to why certain wording will dictate whether or not a bill gets approved or denied. Which is why, I love reading. I like reading stuff like that. Especially when somebody comes up with more argument with me, on certain things like, oh well, this passed because they didn't want to fund the border. It's like, no, this didn't pass, not because they didn't want to fund the border, because you're missing points M as in Mike all the way through Z as in Zulu plus double A through double Z. You're missing all those points in between. And it's insane for you to continue to think in that notion and everything else. Now, I bring up insanity again because of my issue. If y'all have ever been by my live channel, on regardless wherever, and you hear me talk about my guy, it's just a little pet name that pisses my stalker off. And whenever I am allowed to address, who he is on a recorded format or in a live setting with the information that I can reveal, you will know. First instance of this happening was, I want to say, March of 2020. All right. March or May, one of the two, but it was back in 2020 where I had some dude come up and think that he knew something about me and tried saying something and all the other stuff. And I banned him. Banned him out of my chat. As I don't like people being, disgusting towards me or, my chat and my community. Or anybody that I, game and associate with. That's not me. That's not how, that's not what I'm fostering. Well, 2020 makes you, close the doors, and we were forced to go elsewhere. Fast forward a couple months, things kind of escalated. And more accounts were made. Same person. Every single one of them reported every single one. Well, this was just solely on Twitch. Twitch support at the time really didn't have the tools or the moderation, or they didn't have the site moderation or the tools for moderators and creators to be able to do what they did. What they have now. I'm glad that they exist now because it's been awesome. I know, rare Twitch W. But, that happened on Twitch. Then he started going over to Trovo and doing that. He claims he, forced me off Twitch, but at the end of the day, he didn't. Because if he forced me off a platform, I would have deleted my account, which, oh shit, by the way, I still have. But no, several hundred accounts later. And, probably a couple hundred, or, about a rough shot of, close to 100 on Trovo. And then Kick comes out. And then I find out, oh, you can actually start streaming to Rumble. Well, I've always had, another account over on D Live. I don't push content out to it too much. And, it's low viewership and I don't mind. Whatever. But he starts doing the same crap. He drops my physical address in an open chat, which is classified as doxing a felony level event. I reach out to support, and there's almost nothing that they can do until I start bringing up legal. Like, oh shit, yeah, we can do something. Well, in the manner of everything, I'm telling you right now, at 3:54 p.m. on November 18th, 2023, 3:54 p.m. Central Standard Time, I am still working with my caseworker. I am still working to get this person to stop harassing my fucking channels. Because realistically, and I want you guys to, comment on this question. If you saw somebody come into a channel constantly harassing the streamer, would you stay and watch? Would you chat? Would you subscribe? Would you drop anything monetary? Or would you bounce? Because probably the answer is that second part. You would bounce, which costs the creator viewership and potentially costs them a little bit of revenue. And it boggles my mind how this person says, oh, I will never be by, I'll never be by again, I'll never be by again. When we know he's going to show up the next day. It boggles my mind. It's the definition of insanity. Doing the same thing, expecting a different result. Because when you go and you create your account, you are clearly and consciously creating your account and you're clicking accept. By the grand scheme of things, it's one of those things where it's like certain entities and everything else just, best way I could put it is like this.
Never gonna slip up, there ain't no privilege, give this shit up. Just the upper class trying to control us, taking our money and taking our kids, but no one wants to speak up. They just want us to not exist, cause they enjoy the pain like any good narcissist. Creating problems, man, creating issues, cause they never walked a mile in our shoes. They're the ones with everything to lose, they never wanna face the truth, cause they don't give a fuck about you. And that's an absolute. I hope these bars will speak to you.
If y'all are curious, that is the intro to my stream that was created by, if y'all remember, my first guest that I had on the podcast, Boogie. I love that track, and it's why I put it at the start of my stream. When I hit my start, like whenever it's the starting soon, that is at the very start of my stream. Because I asked him, hey, can you do something with these two words? Undefeated mindset, which is a motto I live by. Even whenever I rebrand, it will still be the motto I live by. I'll have another slogan attached to it, but undefeated mindset will never freaking leave. It won't. But when you assign the definition of insanity as doing the same thing over and over and over, expecting a different result, you don't get that result. It's not what you expect. At this point, it becomes more of an obsession. And for me, doing this day in, day out, 5 to 6 times a week, God knows how many hours I've put into this. Coming upon a decade into content creation, having, you know, barrier after barrier after barrier, and hitting issue after issue along the way. People are like, oh, you've been in this for this long? You've never been part of it? No, I haven't, because cards weren't in my hand. Like when go back to 2020, when Mixer shut down, I was at the halfway marker, which, by the way, you had to wait 90 days, 3 months. I was at 45 days from being able to reapply to the partner program. And I had staff members that's, reaching out to me for to see if I wanted to test certain features on the site. But I guess, doing this, it's insane. But if you liked the video, if you like what you saw, hit that thumbs up. If you want to catch me live everywhere else, information will be in the description below. And I will catch all y'all on the next episode, where I just, ramble about the most random things. I know this episode was short, but homie gifted me Call of Duty, and that's what I'll be diving into. If you want the VOD, go to any of the live channels on the description below. Till then, you guys be awesome. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.